new and old, and welcome to the Roast and Toast podcast. We are your hosts, Jennie and Philip. David is on his last week of traversing through the woods, but he will be back next week. Next week for sure, Jennie.
Yes, he will. Yes, he will. And y'all want to stay tuned next week. It's going to be a very exciting one. But for now, let's focus on this week. Phil, how was your week? What's new? What's been exciting?
Exciting is an interesting word. I don't know if I'd go there, but probably the most noteworthy thing that happened for me this week was I have a job where I am in close proximity to others. It's a customer service job. And let me tell you, Jennie, there is an unquestioned hatred I have for those who are so blissfully unaware of their own aroma that it affects other people's days. Because here's the thing. The job that I have encounters multitudes of hours of staying in close proximity with others, meaning that if you decide that you want to go without a shower, not for one, not for two, maybe 3 days, I don't know what it is, and you decide to be near me and come to me at my job, I am forced to have to be with and around you for a good amount of time, for at least 30 minutes of time. And when I tell you that I encountered the most pungent, the most foul, imagine if you would, Jennie,
I want to.
No. I must. I cannot be the only one here. The entire
You
life.
said pungent.
Yes, the entire life cycle of a salmon. If you can imagine the entire life cycle of a salmon encrusted in one person, that is what I had to deal with for 30 minutes and then another 30 minutes. It was an hour's worth of my time that at first, when you first encounter this person, you're like, God, something is it? No, I took a shower today. What happened? And my God, it was horrendous. And let me tell you one other thing is whenever you encounter such a person, and if you are such a person, I have friends who are what is the word? Nose blind, who cannot smell themselves, whatever. If you are such a person, you lose the liberty to be a dick in society. You cannot be rude. You have to overcompensate. You have to be the nicest person because of such a thing, because you're already working at such a disadvantage. You cannot be this person that I encountered, and also on top of being the worst, smelliest person in the entire world, also then be just incredibly rude to myself and others working. That was what I had to deal with this week. Jennie, I believe, I don't know this to be sure, but I believe you had hopefully the absolute reverse of what I had to deal with this week.
Well, I didn't have to be near extremely smelly people this week, that's for sure.
That's a good start.
Yes, I was actually out of state, at least for me. I was in Denver this last weekend, Denver, Colorado. I got to check one or two things off my personal bucket list, including whitewater rafting. Have you ever been whitewater rafting, Phil?
I have not. The closest I've come was Disney's California Adventure, maybe going down on that ride. But no, I've never done whitewater rafting.
Well, I will just go ahead and say right now, I highly recommend it. If I could use that as my that slaps, that would be my that slaps. But I'm not. I'm saving something else for that.
And it was your first time.
Yes, it was my first time. So we had 4 people on a raft, and we did have a tour guide. I'm kicking myself because I don't remember the name of the river that we rafted on, but it was in Idaho Springs, Colorado, with AVA Rafting. Shout out to them, AVA Rafting and Zipline. They are the best rafting in Colorado. There you go. So if you're ever in that area, go check them out. They were a fantastic team to work with, to get guided by through this river. We traveled about 5 miles in about an hour on this I would say it was like a medium speed, and then there were several moments where we had to raft down some small waterfalls, and that was I will say that they gave us a safety video before we did the rafting.
Oh, did they?
It gave us 20 different ways to protect ourselves if we fell in the river. And I was like, what kind of experience am I walking into? It was a class 4 river or class 4 current. So I was like, oh, we are in for either a scary moment here or a super fun moment, and it was a super fun moment. So if you haven't done it yet, listeners, please go whitewater rafting. It is a blast.
As with any good trailer, we are going to make a personal preview to you, the listener. Yes, you, the audience right now. There are not just one, but two major movies coming out this week. And as such, we needed a little bit of a hype video, a little bit of a promotion, if you will, for such movies. Now, if you're listening in the future or you're listening at a time that is not present, the movies in question will forever be linked together, forever in harmony, hand in hand. They are Barbie and Oppenheimer, lovingly adored to colloquially as Barbenheimer. Now, because of such an event, we're going to take an extra week so that way we make sure that all three hosts are here, make sure all three hosts are able to see both films. But in the meantime, in order to get ourselves fully ready for what could possibly be, Jenny, I think it's probably best if we look at one thing that I happened to find, which is quite possibly the Willy Wonka chocolates that is Mattel opening up its inventory and saying yes to every freaking dress it possibly owns. There is a news article right now out by the New Yorker that has said that Mattel is in the process of okaying discussion and creative content talks over 40 of its intellectual properties. And not only did I not know all the wide reach that Mattel actually has, Jenny, I'm also amazed at what the possibilities are that they either have already attributed to their properties or what the possibilities could hold for these. So, Jenny, what I wanted to do is I wanted to go through some of these brands, some of these properties that Mattel holds, give you a little backstory if we have it through what this New Yorker article has given us, and we'll just go through and see if it's a Barbie or an Oppenheimer bomb. In our humble estimations, if it were to be made, if it actually comes to fruition, going forward, the Barbie movie, we'll talk about it at a later time. But for right now, let's go through their properties, and I just want us to go line by line, and we'll see if we think it'll be a hit or, leave it in the oven, leave it in the toy bin. All right, the first one, and this one's been confirmed and is under production right now, barring the strikes that we are currently facing. A Barney film, a live-action Barney film. It's already in production, as I've said. Yeah, I love you, you love me. We will find out about this movie. This movie will be produced by Get Out and Nope star Academy Award winner Daniel Kaluuya. And according to Mattel Films executive Kevin McKeon, that Barney film will be a bit more adult-oriented and have an A24 type quality. Jenny, any interest in this film? I'm in.
I don't know what to feel. I mean, yes, I am interested because Barney was a part of my childhood growing up. However, I'm curious. I am curious to see what an adult A24 style Barney film will become.
Do you think it actually involves the character, or do you think it's like a Mr. Rogers, get to know the man behind, well, in this case, behind the purple?
It's probably going to be more of a wizard behind the curtain style. They'll cover the performer who portrayed Barney for all those years. Wait, is Barney even still on air? Is it still around? I have no idea.
Okay, from my humble research, my little research, they've recently re-put it back into the ether. I believe there is a current animated Netflix Barney show that is out. So not the Big Bird style Barney dinosaur that you and me have come to know through our collective childhoods. Shout out to my mom who took me to my first concert being Barney. So not that Barney, but an animated version of Barney and his friends, I believe is the thing.
Yes, I believe their names were BJ and Baby Bob. Top two.
Yes, top two. Baby Bob. Yes. Oh, way to go. What a cool Jenny.
Baby Bop is a style icon with her pink Madame Green Triceratops.
Yeah.
She knew how to work those pink bows. Oh, legend. Now, I would want to see this. I'm curious to see how much likeness they'll try to cover, if they'll put these performers on the actual set. I don't see why not. If they'll recreate the Barney set, they'll have the young kids be played by lookalikes of the original performers, including a young Selena Gomez. And I'm also curious to see how much coverage we will have of those supporting performers.
Yeah,
But
I
go ahead.
believe that any A24 style film will incorporate that meme, that reel, that gif that we've all seen, like the shadow band a video of Barney and the smoke coming out and protruding from the Barney head. I think that that's going to be covered inside of it, where you see whoever was playing Barney was having a little fun under the mask. I think that that'll be there. In conclusion, would you see this film? Do you think you would want to see this film, or are you out?
Oh, I will definitely see this film. I'm not sure if I would see it in theaters, but I will definitely watch it once it's released. I'm just curious what the title is going to be for this
Yes,
movie.
I agree. I'm with you 100%. I bet it has to be something around I love you, you love me, probably.
Yes.
Hot Wheels is the
Yes.
next brand that they have that I had no idea. Pun intended. I don't know how they'll reinvent the wheel here, but I'm thinking that this will be the pseudo love child of the Fast and the Furious franchise, making a weird baby with the Transformers franchise. This will be hell on wheels. Again, all the puns intended. I don't know how they make this movie feel incredibly unique.
They
Of course,
can't.
it can't. I think this film's been done before, time and time again. I think anything that this film would not be innovative. And possibly on the entirety of this list that we have, I know we haven't gone through the majority of it, probably the best one for an animated film. Probably. I think
Yes,
that
agree.
that's
I was just going to say that this is if we are coming out with so many car movies right now, live
yes.
action, there is no way that it would it's just too early at this point to try to bring a new franchise, new type of car franchise into the world. So animated should be the way to go. It may be in the way of kind of what Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse has done,
Yeah.
where it'll be a unique opportunity for animation. Or if not that, then maybe it could be an animated series on a popular channel.
Yeah.
But if they're going to do a movie, they should probably wait at least a few years before even putting it into production.
I think the best version of this, and it's not even a good best version, but is that if you happen to remember that movie called Monster Trucks with almost tentacles coming out of the truck
What?
itself. Yeah, it's a wild ride. I believe it was Nickelodeon produced. Not 10 out of 10 would not recommend. I'm going to go with Oppenheimer bomb on this one. I don't think there's any part of me that wants to see this film as currently constructed, as easily of an image as I can find. Jenny, you with me here?
Oh, absolutely. I have zero. I haven't. I don't go and see car action movies
Yeah.
really at
Hot
all.
Wheels.
So it's a bomb for me.
Hot Wheels, I think that's a movie that you can beat that at. Next one, Rock'em Sock'em Robots. Now, Jenny, I don't know if
Hmm.
you remember this film, but it feels like that Hugh Jackman film we saw, I want to say like maybe even 10 years ago now, but that Hugh Jackman film that has already been done. It's the movie called Real Steel. If you remember, it's about the boxing sport of robot boxing. I think it's set in some futuristic land where boxing's outlawed, so people make boxing robots, and then the people control the robots, but not really. And then there's a robot who is self-controlled but learns how to box through actual boxer Hugh Jackman plays. I don't know, whatever this is. But Rock'em Sock'em Robots, my question would be, and I think it's a perpetual question that always gets asked whenever you start to include robots, how do you get people to care about robots? How do you get people to care about any particular robot? I'm not against this film idea. I don't think it's going to be successful, but I'm not against it. Do you have a stronger inclination on this one, Jenny? I'm kind of 50-50.
I don't know. I don't have an opinion much of that either because I haven't even heard of Real Steel. This is a brand new movie for me, and I'm kind of in that same boat as you. It's like how what it sounds like it's. You said it was people were controlling these boxing robots.
Yeah, people were in control. They were, if you saw the idea of Pacific Rim, where in that one they had two people controlling it, but in Real Steel it was one person controlling it. Again, akin to a Joy-Con stick or whatever, you know.
The only way I could see this working is if they establish some sort of connection to a main character's childhood, and then maybe they could do a fresh spin on the concept. I probably wouldn't be putting them in that type of setting, but if they were, I could see them trying to fight aliens. Maybe we can. It's a stretch.
Rock'em
But
Sock'em Robots. No, see, Aliens, that's the sequel, Jenny. You're thinking sequel bait right there.
I'm thinking too far ahead.
Yeah, yeah. You get a champion, and then at the end of the film, a UFO starts to go down, and then out comes the alien Rock'em Sock'em Robot and say, "We would like to challenge you," or whatever. Yes. Okay, so. Oh, Jenny, you just inserted a whole universe to this thing. I think I'm in now. I'm in. I'm in for the Barbie Oppenheimer Rock'em Sock'em Robots. How about you?
I'm definitely in for that. It's kind of like Pacific Rim. I would be totally down to see something like that.
Next one would be Monopoly. See, now, back in the day, Hasbro struck a 6-year deal with Universal, which secured the film rights to grab bag of other toys and games, including Monopoly. The arrangement was mocked relentlessly in the press. Would Russell Crowe land the role of Uncle Pennybags, the mustachioed man on the chance cards? After Ridley Scott signed on to direct Monopoly, he told a reporter that it might center on a Donald Trump-type character, adding, "Greed becomes, hopefully, hysterically funny." He also hinted that it might have a futuristic look like his film Blade Runner. Now, for this one, this isn't particularly a Mattel property, but I thought it certainly is in the mold of games here. It's high-stakes drama with a Wall Street feel, I think is Wall Street movie feel, I should say, with Michael Douglas. I think that's the best version of this film, I think. Otherwise, and then eventually they have to go to jail. There has to be a going to jail sequence. Jenny, Monopoly, yay or nay?
I could see this potentially being successful. I think this could be. There's a lot of different directions that come to mind immediately when I think of a movie concept for Monopoly. My brain first went to the horror genre, so I could easily
horror
see
with
this
Monopoly?
being, yeah, like Escape Room. It can kind of be a similar franchise to that, or something dystopian in that same realm where people have to play Monopoly to live. That type of thing, or with some maybe some comedic, like a horror comedy. I could see some inspiration from the movie with Adam Sandler, Pixels.
Oh, God, nothing should be inspired by Pixels, Jenny. Nothing in this world, no movie should take inspiration from Pixels. Oh.
Okay. We'll keep the inspiration in the horror genre then.
To a minimum. To a minimum.
So Escape Room for sure. This is just me, I guess. Maybe Russell Crowe isn't my first choice to play Mr. Moneybags himself. Michael Douglas might be more interesting, but
I think I'm out, which is surprising, Jenny, because I think this is amongst the more popular games that I think everybody is aware of, has probably played in their life. But I think I'm out. I think it's almost too popular and too much of a thing already, which is odd, but I think it's too established already as a game that to include all of the elements within the game, Boardwalk, Park Place, Marvin Gardens, go to jail, free parking, all that stuff, I think it's too much. I think it's too much to include in one game, one universe almost. So I'm out. Are you in, Jen?
If they are, it's got to have a massive budget. They can't skimp on the budget.
Yeah, absolutely.
So would I pay to see this? If it was in the horror genre, like I'm getting inspired by, no. Yes, I would. But if it's
but you're a horror
then
junkie.
Probably not.
Yeah,
I am a horror junkie. Yes, sir.
All right, keeping on with that Hasbro connection, in 2012, Universal reportedly paid millions to nullify the partnership between them and Hasbro, accepting a penalty from Hasbro and offloading the rest of the intellectual properties it had acquired. And one of those was Candyland, which went to Sony, funny enough, which tried unsuccessfully to turn it into a vehicle for Adam Sandler. We were talking about it.
No!
Yes, Candyland featuring Adam Sandler.
No!
Now, Jenny, may we all take a moment to remember the immortal Katy Perry's California Girls. If we need a second to remind ourselves of what a real-life Candyland movie might feel like if it's set in the real world I think that's probably the best pitch that we could have outside of these whipped cream boobs that just go everywhere. I think, take that back. But everything else, there were those gummy bears. There was Snoop Dogg with a ruling lollipop. I think that's where it probably goes, and I think that's in a reality-based world is where it should go. I think an animated version would feel too much like a Wreck-It Ralph did it better. If you remember that they did it in a Candyland adjacent environment, I think that it would be compared to that and unfavorably, as Pixar was still on a high creatively and did that movie right. The first one right, not the second one, but the first one right. I think it's best set in a real world setting, and I think that there's actually potential here. Not with Adam Sandler, but I think that there's potential
Absolutely
here.
not. Please, no. Everyone, if you're listening out there, this is not an Adam Sandler project. Call him for Monopoly. Do not call him for Candyland.
I would actually enjoy Adam Sandler's Mr. Moneyback. Hey, you're going to jail. But Candyland, are you in, Jenny?
I am. I think there is a potential. We like you've said, we've already seen what an animated version of Candyland could look like based on what we've seen from Wreck-It Ralph in that world. But I would love to see some form of Tim Burton Alice in Wonderland or Chronicles of Narnia style of Candyland. I think there's a lot of potential to do something a little bit on the darker side with this one too.
I see.
Maybe someone's coming into Candyland and they have to fight against one of the characters that has somehow turned evil and is trying to take over the entirety of Candyland and all of its residents and regions. So, would love to see that movie. I would pay for that one.
Yeah, I think we're both a go on Candyland. Candyland actually feels doable and entertaining. I think that there's a lot that you can do with it. So we're there. This one's probably more mainstream and has come to Netflix to a point. But now we're back to what Mattel owns and everything. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Now, this property has some recognition outside of a base audience, a la the meme with the Skeleton Man, also known as Skeletor, but for everybody else who's like me, who's never really watched it, with Skeletor telling people uncomfortable truths, then running away and saying, "Till next time," whatever it is.
Until we meet again.
Exactly. Not till next time. Absolutely. Thank you, Jenny. I've never really jumped into this brand, to this show, to this property. So it would be an intellectual property that I would have to learn fresh. I feel like with a lot more others, I feel like I'm more of the general audience that doesn't fully know this property. But from what I understand, it's a shirtless play on Star Wars almost, or something similar to that.
Shirtless play on Star Wars.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't really know. They've already made a movie about this that had mixed success. I think it made its money back barely, and if you go back, I don't think it's aged particularly well. But Jenny, I'll be honest. I don't think I'm not dying to see this. I could be very wrong. I've never watched again any episode of this, both past or present. Are you in? Are you at all familiar with this property whatsoever?
I am also not familiar with He-Man. I could see some financial potential with this one, some success, especially since it's a major nostalgic hitting point for audiences. And I think there's opportunity. If we go far enough in the future, it would be beneficial to expose a whole new generation to a current or modern version of He-Man, if not a reimagine, maybe not a reimagining, but maybe they can. I could see them kind of doing, what's the word for it, where they throw in kind of the same thing with like Into the Spider-Verse, where like little memes get thrown in, or people will recognize certain things. But it's not I probably wouldn't be seeing it. Because it's just not it's not what I grew up with, but if it's on a streaming platform, I would check it out and see. I would be curious, but would I pay a movie for a theater? No, probably not.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that the current play that it's going through right now of being on Netflix, having its own little thing, I think that that's where the base audience is and would happily enjoy it. I don't think that it needs to be on the big screen to get the most out of it. I think that we're in agreement there. So no He-Man, stay off my screen. Next one, the American Girl franchise. Now,
now we're talking my language.
Okay,
Here we
cool,
go.
good. This is great because I'm not unfamiliar with this brand, but I recognize that it is a brand. My sisters were into this. Now, this one was something that has some work on it. A screenwriter told the New Yorker he informed that he was at work on an American Girl script that would be Booksmart, the movie, meets Bill and Ted, which is an interesting...
What?
Yeah, so I'm guessing a quick, quirky comedy featuring time traveling abilities. So American Girl would be to go back in time and visit characters across all of time. I think what I would have thought originally for this play of how to write a script for American Girl would to almost build a series that doesn't truly connect to all of them, but create a universe or a series of you go to different time frames and go onto the big screen. And this is a Pocahontas New Frontier land. This is a Spanish expedition land, or whatever the full American Girl play is. I'm not entirely sure. Jenny, does a Booksmart meets Bill and Ted adventure for American Girl, does that do anything for you?
I think in a previous generation this would have worked. I don't think this could work
that's
for
90s
audiences.
like that's a 90s good play.
I could see this being like a, what's the word for it? Like a Hocus Pocus style thing where it's like a magical, well, maybe not so much in like the Halloween world. I'm trying to think of the best comparison for it, but it just seems like this is something quirky for TV, a TV movie. If they want to play it that route.
And what you're saying is a Disney Channel film, essentially.
It kind of screams Disney Channel film. If they're going to go that route, which I personally don't want to see. I think there's just too many American Girl. I want to see like something. I haven't seen Barbie, so I'm saying this without any information about the new Barbie movie. But there needs to be some sort of commentary on what makes there's some problematic things about American Girl, and it's been commented on before with SNL. If for those who haven't seen that skit, you should look up American Girl SNL. It's a funny sketch, but it makes you realize, oh no, there needs to be some sort of a commentary on what happens with American Girl. Things are just, in a modern world, some of the things that were established with American Girl before are just a little bit tricky to talk about. So I think having some language twisted for modern audiences could be useful. I don't see it being a Disney Channel movie. If the only way it can make it to the big screen is if they bring them to the modern world. But they might have to wait again for a few years because Barbie is literally doing this right now.
Interesting. Okay, so you're saying right now it wouldn't, but in the future, can you see a world where this works? Because
in a few years, yes.
Okay, so I agree. I see a world where this works, that it can completely be viable as a big screen opportunity. I think that this, when I looked through all the brands, I thought that this was probably the safest play on a big screen blockbuster, actually, as odd as it might seem. Okay, so we're both in agreement there. Get our popcorn ready for American Girl, the series. Magic 8 Ball. Now, Jenny, this was you. This was the film that I don't even think I need to pitch it to you because I know that you're going to want this. But
what?
Jimmy Warden, the screenwriter of Cocaine Bear, has devised a horror comedy about the Magic 8 Ball. One can imagine the chilling moment when a character shakes the ball and gets the message, outlook not so good. The approach, Brenner told me afterwards, had been a subject of some debate. We're not going to make any R-rated movies, she promised, although the Magic 8 Ball script walks the line a little bit. She went on, we're not going to make anything that feels violent or that is alienating to families. We want to stay within the parameters of what Mattel is. So, Jenny,
what on earth?
This is that horror film you wanted, a Magic 8 Ball horror film. Can you see the Magic 8 Ball being the what would that be? the Ouija board, the conduit for which the horror takes place through. Can you see
Yeah,
that
but it doesn't deserve its own movie.
Well, you
There's
are
nothing
upset
to
by
work
this.
with. There's absolutely nothing to work with
What if a
this.
soul gets trapped inside the magic? See, this one makes sense to me. I actually understand this. A soul gets trapped inside the magic 8 ball. A fortune teller from past generations dies and is imbued in the magic 8 ball. I get this. You don't see this. You don't see this. You don't connect to this.
I would need to see it on paper. I can't even begin
I
to
am
picture
shocked.
what this movie could be. But I'm happy that it's being
Well,
dabbled in the horror genre. Very happy about that. But in my head, it's like, how the hell are they going to make this work? How the hell?
That's amazing. To me, this comes across so clearly as if I am shaking a magic 8 ball. I can see that connection. That one once I read it, I said, "Oh yes, that is a leads to B leads to C thing here." I'm shocked. I am shocked
It's all
that you
foggy
are.
for me. The only way I mean, yes, it could be used as a tool for horror
Yes, of course,
comedy,
yeah.
absolutely. But
The
making a
comedy is what
whole
worries me.
movie centered around this one thing, it just that's a poll.
Wow,
That's a poll.
wow. So if you were to see something for this, you would be out. Just at least initially, you'd be out.
It'd be another situation where I wait until streaming.
All right, I want a prediction though, Jenny. In or out? In or out?
I'm in if it's on.
Of course,
if
you're
it's
in. We
on
knew
Shudder.
this.
I'm in if it's on Shudder. I will not pay for it in the theaters.
I'm in too, but I thought that you were going to be the one leading me to it. Wow, I'm shocked.
No, I'm
All
still
right.
feeling Monopoly though. Monopoly for horror, yes. Anyway,
that's
what do we got next, Phil? Keep going.
Yeah, we're near the end here. The Masters of Mattel had apparently given the go ahead for a get ready for it, Jenny. You are not ready for this. A heist themed Uno film set in Atlanta, ripe with the hip hop scene and culture, but have apparently benched the F word heavy script for now.
Ruined.
Yeah, Jenny, I think you're forcing a genre onto Uno. I don't know how it read heist themed. I guess add 4 means add 4 years to your sentence if you get caught for a heist. I don't know. But do you have any intrigue in the heist themed Uno film? Should it continue to be produced?
Okay, so I'm pulling from what we've talked about previously. I would love to see if they're going to do something heist related. There should be I would love to see Magic 8 Ball and Uno maybe potentially combined, because I'm liking the concept of using card games or unique toys as tools to get some out of a situation or to do something that you can't that seems impossible. So
right.
Uno, I'm more likely to see this happen, having it a full film. I could see it being a fun comedy also, but I'm hearing it's not going to be rated R. I'm kind of disappointed. Could you imagine?
Yeah, no, I think it definitely needs to be rated R. I mean, that PG-13 one F word allowance, I think I want more. I want more, especially if it naturally lends itself to it. I can kind of see a break into a vault structured film that requires a code of some sort of, all right, only yellows here, only greens here. I need a number that is red. I can kind of see it. I'm intrigued by the fact that we had such a pairing. I'm not out as early as I would have thought. If you had assigned me a project of write an Uno film, I'll be honest, I don't think a heist would have come to mind. So it's imaginative. I'll give it that. And for that imagination, I will reward it with my attendance for now, barring some quirky elements that I don't like. I'm in for now, very much for now. All right, Jenny, our last little bit. The article ran out of things, but of course it has opened up its entire catalog Mattel has for movie films. So I wanted to just run through the remaining brands and intellectual properties that Mattel has ownership of. That I just want your selection, Jenny. Your selection. You only get one, One
Okay.
of these properties that you think would make the best blockbuster film that actually has legs to run on for an entirety of a film. I will give you a couple. I'll let you know when we're done here. But you're listening for and through this list and tell me which one has the best legs for a film that was unlisted as of yet. Are you ready?
Go for it.
All right, the first one is Kerplunk. It's a game with straws and the balls that are trying to fall through. It's that one, if you remember, it's like a cylinder, and then you pull out a straw, and you don't want to be the one who has the most balls
Oh,
that fall through.
I
Yeah,
don't know
yeah.
that game very well.
Okay. Well, there's Kerplunk. Phase
Okay.
10. Rummy meets easy to learn gameplay. It's the one with cards. Again, it has Uno type elements where there's different colors assigned to it. But
Okay.
again, I just always think of it as easier Rummy. That's phase 10. Next one, Apples to Apples, of course, a game that focuses on fulfilling a prompted question with pre-written subject cards leading to hilarious mixes. Pictionary, where a word must be drawn by a person or a group of people to score points when correctly identified. Scrabble, putting down words with the letters given on random tiles. And finally, and this one's an interesting one, Thomas the Tank Engine, which of course
Oh
has
no.
already been cinematically portrayed, but on the small screen, not the big screen as of yet. So, Jenny, out of those brands and ideas and intellectual properties, is there one that you see that has the most potential for a movie or a film?
Well, if Thomas the Tank Engine has already had small screen interpretation, there is the way is paved for it to go to the big screen too, whether that be expanding the lore or doing a new interpretation of what's already been done. In terms of the games though, specifically, I'm tied between Apples to Apples and Pictionary. I think there's a lot of potential for those two. I think Pictionary has a little more potential because I could see a teen movie being produced for that one where someone could be rewriting history or just creating like, kind of like a Timmy Turner Fairly Odd Parents type thing where they bring weird things to life. If they have a weird if they draw a bear and the bear doesn't look like a bear, but it's whatever drawn version, it'll
Yeah, it looks like
suddenly
a fish.
become
Yeah.
yeah, it'll become that a bear becomes a fish. Exactly. I think that'd be fun to
Hmm.
I would love to see that type of exploration. Apples to Apples, I could see being another dark
That
comedy, but I'm not
Yeah, that
sure
feels like a
what
teen
could be
comedy
done
right
with that.
there. Yeah,
Yeah.
apples to, or maybe even like a this is 30, this is 40 marriage comedy of apples to apples, two opposing forces lead to common hijinks. I think apples to apples would have been the one that I chose, but out of the ones you didn't list, I think the one that is an interesting heist themed elemental film would be Kerplunk.
Yes, I do agree with you.
I think that could lead to either a jail escape film or a heist film, and very easily, we've already seen a film like Indiana Jones with a ball shaped trap or something that could that could easily make it that could easily
Yes.
make its way. You could be in an escape room where hanging above you are balls that are only enforced by tethers or straws or whatever you want to do. You can make an easy allusion to that. I think
Yes.
that's probably like on the lower one, but I think we're both in agreement here. Apples to Apples, I think, has the most legs to run on for here. So, okay, I think we're good. I think Barbie is the first of many. I do think that this is a trend setter, not a one-off. So let's get ready, people. Let's get ready. Let's bookmark this in history. This was our idea. Let's see if we are going to have copyright infringement upon our ideas here, Jenny. And if we will have something here in the future to talk about.
Oh yes.
Onward.
Okay, Phil. So our mini segment this week, we're gonna revisit one of our personal favorites, blanks, where I'm going to give you a list of types of words, and you're gonna have to tell me right off the bat what word comes to mind first. We have a short and simple passage here, inspired by our main topic, and I'm looking to create something fantastic. So, Phil, let's begin, shall we? Give me a verb, if you will.
Slipping.
Noun.
He-Man. Why not?
A part of the body. This needs to be plural.
Plural part of the body. Cheeks.
Perfect. Occupation.
I don't know why, but I was thinking of a clothing printmaker. Somebody who, a person who
clothing printmaker.
Yeah, you go to somebody and you want one of those bad things of like #1 dad, and you go to them and then they print it on clothing that you want. Clothing printmaker.
Okay, perfect. It's a very specific thing, but I'll take it. Vehicle, please. Plural, if you will.
Can I say the Batmobiles?
Ooh, yes, you absolutely can.
Okay, there we go.
Pick a number.
77.
77. A type of container. This needs to be plural again.
A jar? Jars?
Jars.
Yeah.
Yes, perfect. Adjective.
Slimy.
Ooh, gross.
Yeah.
Noun.
Denver.
Oh. A silly word.
Shapoopy.
Shapoopy. And how do you spell that? No, I'm just kidding. Noun.
Yeah. Gummy bear. Or gummy bears, if necessary.
I will make it plural. Why not? Something alive.
Earthworm.
Ugh, gross. Verb, please.
Slow dancing.
Another noun.
Pokemon.
Ooh, now we're talking my real language right there. Another noun, please. Lots of nouns in this one.
I see. Tums.
Perfect. Another article. Oh, actually, I haven't said this yet. Article of clothing. Just one.
G-string.
G-string? Okay, we'll keep it singular. There we go. Okay, one more verb.
One more verb. How about what about the hand jive?
The hand jive. Excellent.
Yeah. Yes. For all of you who don't know, it's a dance.
hand jiving.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay, perfect. And then one more noun. Last noun of the passage.
Author. An author.
An author. Okay, I'll use author. Perfect. All right. Let's do this. On your mark, get set, slipping! The He-Man is on! We all love the feel of the wind in our cheeks. Everyone wants to be the fastest clothing printmaker on the track. Hot Wheels are the world's most famous toy race Batmobiles. But how have they stayed so popular for 77 years? Is it the cool carrying jars? The slimy details on the cars? The Denver blowing playsets? Or shapoopy, the noise you make when you race your car? No, it's the need for gummy bears! Because when you're racing, you feel like an earthworm. Slow dancing those wheels. Pokemon is the name of this game. And Hot Wheels are the coolest way to move faster than the speed of Tums.
You know what? Tums are fast acting.
So lace up your G-string and hand jive up your engines. The race is on. The only question is, who is going to take home the golden author? Woo!
Wow, that got dirty there at
spicy.
The end. Yeah, that Hot Wheels movie we might watch, but I don't think it's going to be on a big screen. I think it'll be on a dark, grimy screen.
This seems like in the horror genre. That seems like an Eraserhead, David Lynch type film. Are you listening, David? Take a note. David Lynch, not our David.
Looking to streamline your busy schedule? Looking for a helping hand for life's endeavors? Details by Claire is here to make your life easier. Visit www.detailsbyclaire.com to explore a wide range of services, including calendar management, website creation, and even voiceover work. Claire's attention to detail and dedication to her clients are unmatched. Don't let the game of life overwhelm you. Visit www.detailsbyclaire.com today and discover the convenience and expertise of Details by Claire. All right, it's been a couple of weeks, but Jenny, we do have a once more this week. One more additional thing that didn't really
Ooh.
fit into anything that we normally do, so it's a once more. Been a couple of weeks since we've done our Blockbuster Summer Draft, and it's about time we gave you an update. As
That's true.
as all the number one movies on number one draft picks have finally, with the making of this podcast, have finally been out. And so we have what I think could be pretty much the final standings, at least in one position. So, and number 4, bringing up the rear, is David at 194 million. Again, if we all recall, he drafted Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. And what else? He drafted the Meg.
He had No Hard Feelings. He had
Asteroid
the Meg,
City.
Asteroid City.
So, of course, his number 2 pick right now with the Meg is the only thing he has left. So it has potential. He has potential to move up from this number 4 spot, but not too much higher. Now, number 3 coming in strong is me at 235 million, as only one of my movies has been released as of yet, and that, of course, being Mission Impossible. My other 3 films, Blue Beetle, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Gran Turismo, all have yet to show, but I don't know if I have. So I think I have a strong contention for number 2. Number 1 might be hard, but we'll get to that shortly. Number 2 is Gary. Now, his full movie list is done. He cannot move up any higher, as he is at a final total of 284 million, with him taking The Flash at number 1 at 130 million, a big flop considering how much they put into that film. Transformers being at number 2 for him at 80 million. The Blackening being 7 million. I am now owed at least 12 peanut butter sandwiches by Gary. That's all right. We'll talk about that at the episode when he returns. And a sneaky pick that all of us missed, that we all should have taken, I believe, by the time that this is all going to be said and done. Insidious Red Door, 67 million. That is going to be by far, I believe, the best number 4 pick that any of us should have and did make. So Gary, with that strong number 4 pick, vaults himself up to number 2. But again, his full list is done. And finally, of course, that means that there's only one person. Jenny, who's number 1?
Is it me?
Yeah, it is you. Yes, of course. Jenny, you took a risk. You took a gamble having 2 films coming out on the same day, on the same release date, and you saw the future. Barbenheimer has been a massive, massive success with with your full total. Your full total being 556 million. Now, 3 of your 4 films are done. Barbie bringing in 337 million. Oppenheimer collecting 174 million. A massive 1-2 punch. And Barbie probably in all likelihood going to be the movie of this year at 337 million, both domestic and international.
Wow.
Woo! Yes. You have a lead. You have a massive lead that I think I'm the only one who can probably catch you. And even then, I don't feel that strong. But you do have one movie left. And it's The Haunted Mansion, which was always going to be a gamble, even from the beginning. It could vault you to an impossible catching up territory that I think you, in all honesty, and probably already am at. So, in all honesty, I think I'm playing for second. I think David is possibly able to get to number 3, and Gary is... he might be at number 4. It's going to be between him and David for number 4 and number 3. You and me are reaching for number 1 and number 2, I believe, but I could be wrong. There's still some elements left to be had. And of course,
it's not over until we have all the movies released. So we will not truly know until everyone releases their films.
But congratulations, about more than halfway through, Jenny, you have a monumental lead. You do have a very hard hill for anybody else to climb. So congratulations.
Well, thank you. I don't know why I feel shocked, but I'm so happy I have made the right choice, at least that we know so far. I knew I was right to see Pink. That slaps. Here is the time where we get to share what media, songs, or films have tickled our fancies. Since we're on the topic of movies, Insidious the Red Door is my That Slaps this week. I had the privilege of seeing it a couple of days ago, finally. I've been waiting for a long time to see it. I will say it was a fantastic film to close out the Lambert family franchise, or the story, excuse me, not the franchise. The Insidious franchise, I don't think is going to die anytime soon, but we're not going to see a film from them for a while. They have mentioned that in news stories. But the film itself was a wonderful way to end that plot or those characters' arcs. The film is not without its flaws. I will say that. So just know that you're going in, seeing a movie that was made for everyone to enjoy, including those that haven't seen the entire Insidious franchise. But in general, I would just like to say this movie, Patrick Wilson, congratulations, because this movie slaps. You have tiptoed our tulips.
Yeah, wow. It's interesting to know, too, for a horror film, especially one within a franchise. It's good to note whether a film can stand alone or whether it must be seen within the order that it was released. That is always important. So thank you for that clarification, Jenny. For mine, I will be going back to our musical well, our wishing well as we ever grow it each and every week. The song is called De La, and it's by Johnny Clegg and Savuka. And let me tell you, the reason why I found this song is because of one glorious wrong turn on Instagram Reels. I happened to see Brendan Fraser, long may he reign. The Renaissance is real. It still remains, and I will watch anything that man is in for a good foreseeable future. And I saw him in his George of the Jungle attire, and it was the whole romance scene of where like the love happenstance for him and what's her name? I don't even know. I don't even remember. I haven't seen this film in so long. Where they fall in love and they're dancing around a campfire and the gorillas are playing the drums and they're possibly singing. And oh my God, I was like, I'm in love with you, Brendan Fraser. De la, and I don't even know what the hell they're saying. I almost cursed. I was so in love with this song. Jenny, do yourself a damn favor. Go back and watch this scene. Go listen to this song. It's impossible. It's impossibly 90s. It is impossible to not get a groove in your booty. And I love this song. I keep almost cursing. That's how good this song is.
I do love a booty groove.
A booty groove. Amen. Everybody all at once clap. De La, Johnny Clegg and Savuka. That mofo slaps. Well, just like that, it is the end of another episode, but not before we have some thank yous to get a hold of first.
Yes, thank you to Cass and Crossland and Jake Coralang for the music that you hear throughout the show.
Thanks to Ryan Ardell and Josh Hans for a lot of the audio bits that you hear throughout the entirety of the show.
Thank you once again to Rudy Chalk for your wonderful graphic work that you get to see in all of our social media.
And thank you, the listener, for tuning in. Yes, you, the listener, listening right now. Please, by all means, go visit all of our socials, whether that be on Instagram. Of course, we have TikTok. We've been promoting that heavily. We've got Facebook. We got Twitter. We don't have Twitch yet. I was about to say Twitch. I guess that's the next hurdle.
Maybe. Yes, stay tuned.
Stay tuned. But yes, go look up Roast and Toast Pod, Roast and Toast Podcast, along those lines on social media. But most importantly, Roast and Toast Pod. That's where we are most everywhere on our social media handles. But of course, if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to us and our entire library on anywhere that you listen to all of your favorite podcasts, whether that be Spotify podcasts, Apple podcasts, even Google podcasts, everywhere pretty much except for Pandora. Why? Because screw you, Pandora. Screw you to infinity and beyond.
Okay, now, listen up and listen good. I've got the perfect deal for you, sweet as honey, right between Atlantic and Illinois Avenue. How would you feel about Barrenau Railroad?